I caught my husband texting a minor. I don't know what to do after discovering her true identity. My husband and I have known each other for 3 years and got married 6 months ago. He is everything I could have asked for. I thought I had been living the dream, but now everything has fallen apart. 2 hours into our road trip, my husband decided to take a stop at a gas station and get us some snacks. I stayed inside the car and was waiting for him until I noticed he got a notification from Instagram. This surprised me because he was always adamant on never wanting to get Instagram. I opened up his phone and decided to check what it was. Upon opening it, I found messages with a teenage girl. I only saw a couple of them, but they consisted of, "I love you. I can't wait to see you again," and him sliding on her story saying she looks beautiful. I clicked on her profile and it was obvious she was a teenager. The fact he was cheating on me didn't even register in my brain, and it was more so the fact that he was texting these things to someone who was underage. I didn't have the chance to look further because he came back within 10 minutes. I didn't know what to do. I was terrified, betrayed, and disgusted. I was stuck with him for 6 more hours and he noticed that I was acting weird. I didn't want to confront him on the road and I felt like these hours were driving me crazy. I had been faking being sick just to get him off my back as to why I am not holding his hand or being affectionate with him. I know I should go along with it and pretend for my sake, but I physically couldn't bring myself to. I tried to take a nap to make the time go by much faster. I just needed to rest my brain before I did something I'd regret. We were heading to my parents' house and I really wanted to be by them. However, within 45 minutes my husband woke me up and told me he found a nearby hotel for us to stay in. He said he was worried about me and wanted me to rest in a real bed. He also bought medicine for me. At this point, I was freaking out because knew I was in an unfamiliar area and he was being extra clingy. Once we got in the room, we laid down and he kept cuddling me. It made me sick to my stomach, so I left to go to the bathroom. I stayed in the bathroom for about an hour. I knew my husband was growing concerned because he kept checking on me. After I left the bathroom, he looked extremely worried and I just needed to let everything out. I couldn't take it. I told him I found his messages on Instagram. He immediately started apologizing and saying he wanted to tell me sooner but couldn't find the time. He was apologizing but not as intensely as what he could have done. So I confronted him about that and said, "What a lousy apology coming from an offender." He immediately went silent. It was probably silent for about 6 minutes when he broke it and asked what I was referring to. I told him what I saw and he looked so hurt. He took a deep breath and explained everything. He said the person I looked through his messages with was his 15-year-old daughter Sarah. He explained that she reached out to him a year ago on Facebook and ever since then was trying to connect with her. He said within 6 months he confirmed he was the father, met up with her a bunch of times, and truly formed a strong connection with her. However, 6 months ago we got married and he didn't want to stress me out with that news, as well as his daughter not being ready to face others. He also explained that when he was 18 he had an on and off relationship with Sarah's mom. When one day she just up and ghosted him forever. According to Sarah, her mom is also strict, which is why they message on Instagram to avoid her mom finding out. My mind was spiraling and I knew he knew that. He then placed his phone into my hand and let me scroll farther. Upon scrolling I found her referring to him as Dad and she sent him a happy Father's Day a while back as well. He even said he would do another DNA test to prove it to me. I immediately felt guilty. I felt guilty that my immediate mind took innocent texts and turned them inappropriate. And I felt guilty that I saw my husband in that way. I kept apologizing to him about the accusation. However, my husband just apologized and said he understood my point of view and told me it wasn't my fault. I kept trying to tell him I was sorry, and he kept saying it was okay. I could see the look in his eyes and how hurt he really was. I flushed everything down the drain and had no clue how to make things better.